Woo! Alright. It's a little chilly. It's a little chilly today. Now, got a lot of content to record. And, I gotta go buy some stuff today. Kind of unfortunate, but we gotta get it done. Let's get to it. Without any further ado. So today we're continuing from page 40. It is day 8 of reading. I think we can really take a big chunk out of this today of recording here because I want to try and get a little bit further. Yesterday I had to get some work done and it just needed to get done. So I didn't read, and that I know that's an L. But maybe we can make it to page 60 today. We're going to shoot for that. And this book in total is like 140 pages, so that would be like halfway through the book. It's a really good book. Let's get to it. Alright. The reason. You can literally charge 100x more for... You know what? Today, let's see how far we make it without putting that in our mouth. You can literally charge 100x more for the exact product. Dan Kennedy was the first person to illustrate this for me. And I will do the same, and I will do my best to pass on the torch to you in these pages. Niching product pricing examples. Time management, $19. Time management for sales professionals, $99. Time management for outbound business-to-business sales, $499. Time management for outbound business-to-business power tools and gardening sales reps, $1,997. Wow. Dan Kennedy taught me this, and it changed my life forever. Let's say you sold a generic course on time management. Unless you were a massive time management guru with a compelling or unique story, it would be unlikely it would turn into anything significant. What do you think, what do you think? Yet another time management course? Is it valued at $19, $29? Sure. Nothing to write home about. Let's just say $19 for illustration's sake. Now we unleash the power of niche pricing in various stages on your product. So let's say you make the product more specific, keeping the same principles and calling it time management for sales professionals. All of a sudden, this course is a more specific type of person. We could tie their we could tie their increase to Dang, this is why we need this. Excuse me. We could tie their increase to even one more sale or one more deal, and it would be worth more. But there are a lot of salespeople, so this might be a $100 product. Neat, but we could do better. So let's go down another level of niching and call our product time management for business-to-business outbound sales reps. Following the same principle of I always butcher this. Let's try. Specificity. Well, of specificity. Specificity. See, I always butcher it. I always fail. Specificity. 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 You guys already know that's an L in the comments. Specificity. Specificity. Yo, how can we get something to play that real quick? I see, this is why we're doing this. There we go. Alright, we're back. After the specificity. Blah. Now, okay, I'm going to reread this. Time management for B2B outbound sales reps, following the same principle of specificity. Now we know our sales problem. Our salespeople probably have very experienced deals and commissions. A single sale would easily net the salesman $500 or more, so it would be easy to justify a $500 price tag. This is already a 25x increase in price for almost an identical product. I could stop here, but I'm going to go one step further. Let's niche down one last level. Time management for B2B outbound power tools and gardening sales reps. Boom! Think about it for a sec. If you're a power tool outbound sales rep, you would think to yourself, this is made exactly for me, and would hopefully fork over maybe $1,000 to $2,000 for a time management program that could help you achieve your goal. The actual pieces of the program may be the same as the generic $19 course, but since they have been applied and the sales messaging could speak so much to this avatar, they will find it more compelling and get more value from it in a real way. The concept applies to anything you decide to do. You want to do the guy who services this type of person or solves this type of problem. And even more niche, I solve this type of problem for this specific type of person in this unique counterintuitive way that reserves their deepest fear. That's why a fitness program for generic weight loss might be priced at only $19, while a fitness program designed and marketed only to shift nurses might be priced at $1,997, in quotes, even though the core of the program is likely similar. Eats less, moves more, end quote. End result, the market matters, your niche matters, and if you can sell the same product for 100x more the price, should you? I'll let you decide. Summary points. The purpose of this chapter is to reinforce two things. First, don't pick a bad market. Normal markets are fine. Great markets are great. Second, once you pick, commit to it until you figure it out. If you try 100 offers, I promise you will succeed. I promise you will succeed. Most people never try anything. Others fail once, then give up. Oh. Look at me. I'll read her. Others fail once, then give up. It takes resilience to succeed. Stop personalizing. It's not about you. If your offer doesn't work, it doesn't mean you suck. It means your offer sucks. Biggest difference. You only suck if you stop trying. So try again. You'll never become world class if you stop after a failed attempt. If you find a crazy good market, write it harder. And if you pair a Grand Slam offer with a crazy market, you'll likely never need to work again. Seriously. So have this skill set, the ability to accurately assess markets by taking into account pain, money, targeting, and growth in your back pocket. So when lightning strikes, you can make it strike twice. Having established how a nail Having established how to nail a market, let's get back to pricing. The first step to making a crazy money is charging premium prices. Next chapter. Here we go. Chapter's name. Oh, excuse my yawn. Chapter's name. Pricing. Charge what it's worth. Charge as high a price as you can. Charge as high a price as you can. Say it out loud without cracking a smile. $2,997. 4,000. Wow. This is my brain today. $4,997. I didn't crack a smile. Here we go. Okay. That quote is from Dan Kennedy. January 2019. All I could see was black. My eyes felt glued shut. I was awake, but the fatigue in my temples felt like 5-pound weights. Temples felt like a 5-pound weight was duct taped to my skull, dragging my eyelids back down. I had to concentrate forcibly to open them. The detail of the dimly lit room beamed in. I rolled over to the edge of my hotel room bed, feeling each and every muscle in my body as my weight shifted, hunched on my side. I could see my clothes scattered on the floor. I was so beat the night before that I didn't even remember taking them off. I had just finished a 5-day gauntlet of keynote after keynote presentation. 2 days of presenting for our highest level clients, immediately followed by spending 2 days planning with my entire company, which is 135 employees. I had missed a FaceTime call from my father the day before. I didn't have anything on my agenda for the morning, so I creakily got up, slid into a hoodie and some sweats, and walked into the hotel's hallway to call him back. After the initial pleasantries, so yeah, I already know what that means. Initial pleasantries, he immediately dove into why he was calling. A parental concern. I saw the picture you posted of your clients, he said, but in an unusual concerned tone. I thought the event was for all your highest paying clients. I didn't know it was a big event. It looked like you had 1,000 people there. Alone in the hallway and struggling to shake the heavy weight of my exhaustion still, I tried to gauge whether his concern was coming from, or where his concern was coming from, and what he was getting at. I had explained this all to him already. It was only for our highest level clients. That wasn't all of our clients, I just said. Just the ones who pay me $42,000 a year are gym lords, like I told you. Every single person in that picture paid you $42,000? He sounded almost frightened at the idea. Yeah. Wild, right? My voice was hoarse from the days of speaking and thousands of 20-second conversations. Is it legal what you're doing? He asked. Wow, that escalated quickly. I thought to myself, do they know they're paying you that much? Yes, it's legal, and of course they know they're paying you. It's not like magical siphoning money. It's not like magically siphoning money. That's a lot of money. I hope what you're giving them is worth it. I contemplated whether it was worth the effort to dive in this or just ignore it, but knowing this was going to be a quote thing, I took a deep breath and began to explain. If I made you $239,000 extra this year, would you pay me $42,000? I asked, using this $239,000 because it was the average increase in top line revenue of our gyms using this system for 11 months. He said, for sure, he said. I mean, if I knew I was going to make that back, but what would I have to do? About 15 hours of work a week. And how long would it take me to make $239,000? 11 months. And how much of the $42,000 would I have to pay you up front? Nothing. Just pay me as you start making the money using the system. I watched it click. My dad got it. Oh, he said. Well then, yeah, I would do it. And that's why they do it too. Making shitloads of money breaks people's minds. It literally stretches their minds so far past the point they can't, so far past what they believe is possible. They assume you are doing something wrong or illegal. They literally can't even. Why? Because they think to themselves, they can't be that much smarter than me or work that much harder than me. So how is this possible for them to make 1,000 times more than me? Enough money that it would take me literally 10 lifetimes to make that what they make in a year. In the 3 years leading up to me writing this book, I took home $1.2 million a month in profit every single month. That's more than the commission for the CEOs of Ford, McDonald's, Motorola, and Yahoo combined. Every year. As a kid in his 20s, it angers those who believe life isn't fair. It confuses others who can't comprehend and believe there must have been a mistake. And it inspires a select few who are bound for greatness. I hope that you are in the last category, because that is who I am writing this for. You can do this. You just need to learn how, and I'm going to show you the price to value discrepancy. In quotes, I hope what you're giving them is worth it, end quote. Those words would probably sting for most when my dad said them to me. I just knew he didn't understand the value we were providing. What I want to show you is how to create and communicate value, aka the worth itness of an offer. I'm going to pause there. What I've realized, what I do with myself is, excuse my yawn, I'm just waking up, and so I'm not just I've been up for an hour, but I'm still getting the cobwebs out of there, so I apologize. But I am actively thinking, right? So if I'm thinking about what the book is writing, right? If I think to myself, in order to understand how to make a compelling offer, you must understand value, right? I'm actively just thinking about that sentence. But when I go off and I'm reading and I try to turn the one portion of my brain off to continue reading, then it causes me to stutter. It causes me to mess up during the read. So it's almost like I have to figure out how to turn off that lazy part of my brain. How do I get out of that? You know what I mean? that's where you say yes. So we're going to continue. In order to understand how to make a compelling offer, you must understand value. The reason people buy anything is to get a deal. They believe what they are getting, value, is worth more than what they are giving in exchange for it, price. The moment the value they receive dips below what they are paying, they stop buying from you. This price to value discrepancy is what you need to avoid at all costs. After all, as Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. The simplest way to increase the gap between price to value is by lowering the price. It's also most of the time the wrong decision for the business. Getting people to buy is not the objective of a business. Making money is. And lowering the price is a one-way road to destruction. One-way road to destruction for most. You can only go down to $0, but you can go infinitely high in the other direction. So unless you have a revolutionary way of decreasing your cost to 1/10 compared to your competition, don't compete on price. As Dan Kennedy said, there is no strategic benefit to being the second cheapest in the marketplace, but there is for being the most expensive. So the goal of our Grand Slam offer will be to get more people to say yes at higher prices by increasing our value to price discrepancy. In other words, we will raise our price only after we have sufficiently increased our value. This way, they still get a great deal. Think buying $100K of value for $10K. It's money. Wait. I'm going to reread that in quotes again. Where's the start of that quote? Am I tripping? Is there a start? Oh. In quotes, think buying $100K of value for $10K. It's money at a discount. Yawn. Stretch. Why you should charge so much it hurts. Most business owners are not competing on price or value. In fact, they're not actually competing on anything at all. Their pricing process typically goes for something like this. 1. Look at the marketplace. 2. See what everyone else offers. 3. Take the average. 4. Go slightly below to remain competitive. 5. Provide what their competitors offer with a little more. 6. End up at the value proposition of more for less. And the big secret, those competitors they are copying are dead broke. So why on the earth copy them? Pricing where the market is means you're pricing for market efficiency. Over time, in a efficient marketplace, more competitors enter offering quote, a little more for a little less, end quote, until eventually no one can provide any more for any less. At this point, a market reaches perfect efficiency, and the business owners participating make just enough at the end of the month to keep going. The bottom 10 to 20% of operators get washed out or lose the will to fight. The fresh business owners enter with no idea and repeat the process of the forefathers, and around they go. In plain words, pricing this way means you are providing a service at just above what it costs for you to stay above water. We are not trying to stay barely above water. We are trying to make egregious amounts of money that will have you that will have your relatives asking if what you are doing is legal. Again, we are not trying to get the most customers. We are trying to make the money. Now, what that makes me think of is, like, what does this book pertain to? I don't know how you could pertain this section necessarily. I don't know how you could pertain this section necessarily to, like, let's just say, I could get it for, like, construction workers, but a plumber. If I were to hire a plumber, how would I charge, let's just say, drain cleaning, right? If I were to fix somebody's drain, how could I offer such a high price for just cleaning a drain? Then people would probably be like, oh, well, you just do a monthly maintenance or something with, like, a plumbing, and, like, we clean your drains monthly. But, like, you only call a plumber when you need a plumber. You aren't going to provide them huge amounts of value other than just solving that pain point of, hey, this doesn't work at this time. So it'd be interesting to see how he'd answer that. Anyway, continuing. Man, my yawns are probably killing your retention. That being said, since there is no strategic benefit to being the second lowest priced player in the market, allow me to give you a brief overview of why I see premium pricing as not only a very smart business decision, but a moral one. Furthermore, it's the only choice that will allow you to truly provide the most value, a unique and strong position in the marketplace. Let me introduce you to the virtuous cycle of price. Then there's something drawn out here for pricing. 3K, blah, blah, blah. Emotional investment. Okay, we're going to continue. I have used this framework in most of the materials I release because it needs to be consistently reinforced. The forces of the marketplace will grate on your belief system. You must stay strong and ignore them. Here are the basic premise of why you need to charge a premium if you want to best serve your customers. When you decrease your price, you decrease your client's emotional investment. Decrease your client's emotional investment. Since it doesn't cost them much, decrease your client's perceived value of your service, since it can't be that good if it's so cheap or priced the same as everyone else. Decrease your client's results because they do not value your service and are not invested. Attract the worst clients who are never satisfied until your service is free. Destroy any margin you have left to be able to actually provide an exceptional experience. Hire the best people, invest in your people, pamper your clients, invest in growth, invest in more locations or more scale, and everything else that you had hoped in the goal of helping more people solve whatever problem it is that you solve. In essence, your world sucks, and to make matters worse, your service probably sucks because you are squeezing blood from the proverbial stone. There is just not enough money left over to make it something exceptional. As a result, you fail in line with the armies of your average business that race to the bottom. I've lived that life. It's terrible. If you love your customers and your employees, please stop shortchanging them when there is a better way. Here's the reverse. This is what happens when you raise your price. When you raise your price, you increase your client's emotional investment, increase your client's perceived value of your service, increase your client's results because they value your service and are invested. Attract the best clients who are the easiest to satisfy and actually cost less to fulfill, and who are the most likely to actually receive and perceive the most relative value. Multiply your margin because you have money to invest in systems to create efficient, smart people, improve customer experience, scale your business, and most importantly, and most important of all, to keep watching the numbers in your personal bank account go up month after month, even without reinvesting in your business. This allows you to ultimately enjoy the process for the long haul and help more people as you grow, rather than burning out and shriveling into obscurity. To swing the argument even further in favor of the higher prices, here are a few interesting concepts when you raise your price. You increase the value the consumer receives without changing anything else about your product. Wait, what? Yes, perceived value. Boom. We hit page 50. How long we been going? We've been going for about 30 minutes. So, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to watch this back. I know I messed up in a bunch of places, but I've been watching back every single video before I make a next video. And that's the ultimate goal of this, is to be like, oh, well, next time I could talk like this. When I'm thinking, I need to think like this. Or when I'm reading, my left eye looks weird or something, you know? So, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next.